Britney Spears just dropped the biggest bombshell from her brand new book, The Woman in Me, which is coming out on October 24th, next Tuesday. She had an abortion when she was dating Justin Timberlake, and Britney Spears said it was his idea because he was not ready to be a father.
Ooh. Do we know what age?
19. They were both 19.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yep, they were dating when they were 19 years old. Of course, they met, I think, when they were like, what, 11 on the Mickey Mouse Club?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've known each other forever and ever, and then they grew up, and then they found each other attractive. Well, actually, they think they kissed back when they were 11. They were playing Truth or Dare back then, and somebody dared Justin to kiss her, and they kissed for the very first time during a Janet Jackson song. It's probably way more info than you all ever wanted to know. But so anyway, Britney Spears says yes, that they were together, and she found out that she was pregnant, and she told Justin Timberlake, and she said, "I don't know if it was the right decision. If it had been left up to me alone, I never would have done it." And yet Justin was so sure that he didn't want to be a father. It was one of the most agonizing things I have ever experienced in my life. She had an abortion.
And do we know, I guess, did the parents know and everybody else? Or was it like a secret between that?
It could be, because they're adults. They don't have to tell anybody.
Why is she doing this? Why is she exposing these secrets?
She's got a brand new book.
But that's not a reason to do it.
I mean, it's not,
you're burning down another person's life as well.
I mean, those are between them. That's
it is, though. I mean, there's no, there's no reason, not like I'm not defending what they did, but I'm saying there's no reason. She has 200 million, even if she doesn't, there's no reason to drag him through the mud at this point.
I think this is her way of healing. I mean, Britney Spears was under a conservatorship where she had no control over her own body, her money, where she lived, who she dated. I mean,
but she wasn't on a conservatorship when she dated Justin Timberlake.
No,
That's
she
8
was
years
not.
later.
That was their thing. That was their private thing. And, I don't think that's very respectful. I don't think.
I don't know. I am shocked to hear it. I think that it's her story to tell, too. Is it not?
I mean, it was in a book. Why?
Yeah. Why does anybody write a book? Because she's getting her story out there.
I just don't think if it's something that's that private and between two people that you don't expose something like that in a book.
So, but like cheating would be okay?
I didn't say any of it's okay. I'm talking
wonder,
about the exposure. If it's between them and they decided something together, and we don't know all the circumstances, why would you just randomly expose this to about that in a book years later?
I think that we're learning the circumstances. This is a book written by Britney Spears from her point of view. This is very odd because
if it's true, it's true.
It's true. It's true.
Well, we say that a lot of times, but what if somebody just wrote a book and told everything you've ever done, Katie, or me, or Jason?
That would be a terrible thing, but did I do it? Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but you don't expect that if somebody you has you saying we know all the circumstances? No, we don't. We don't know exactly how it went down.
From her side of view,
we still don't know. We don't know how that went down, the tone and the mannerism and exactly how it was.
Okay, so the next time I ever report anything from somebody's tell-all book, remember that this is your stance. Instead of
Why are you getting offended?
It's just shocking to me that this is your response.
Why is it shocking? Because Justin Timberlake, in my understanding, has been nothing but nice to her. He doesn't drag her through the mud. They had their breakup songs and they had their things at first, but over the years, he's moved on. He has a family. She's moved on and had multiple marriages and families.
She's had really horrible things happen to her whole life where she had no control over anything. And so now she's writing a book that is her point of view. People do it all the time.
She has the right to do it, but I feel that way with anybody who writes these tell-all books. It might be interesting and fodder for us, but it's like, what's the point? Especially, I can understand they had like they were married forever and they had a bitter divorce, and you're like, you know what? And they're both slinging mud. He's not slinging mud. He's trying to live his own life with his kids, and she lived her own life with her kids.
And if she's been through something terrible and somebody did her wrong and it was like that, I get it. Okay, that's understandable. But in this circumstance, did he do her wrong?
So it's only okay if it's revenge. Like you're not allowed to tell what happened to you if you're getting back at somebody.
It's not revenge. I didn't say it's only okay. It's not revenge. I just said in a circumstance where maybe something is between two people and.
I can see her doing a tell-all book about the conservatorship and how her parents treated her.
But there's certain things she shouldn't share. Is that what?
I don't understand the Timberlake. That's before the conservatorship. Like, why drag their personal relationship through the mud?
I think that there was more for Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake, where it was, his huge hit song, Cry Me a River, was all about the accusations that she had cheated.
Mm-hmm.
And so then it was, Justin versus Britney back then. Well,
if she cheated, that's not something that's like between. It's like,
but did she, or was it just like the accusation? And then he has this huge hit song that was all about it, that had everyone thinking that she did.
This is speculation then.
And also, I think that this is, again, her story to tell. Do you think this was easy for her to say?
I didn't like the Jada book. It's like she's dragging all this stuff for what?
I guess money, or to be able to tell her side of the story. I don't know. I don't know why I'm shocked, but I am to hear you all say this. I really am.
Yeah, I understand. Like, anyway, I don't want to repeat myself. Like,
yeah,
we're all talking about her. It seemed like the hardest part of her life was the conservatorship, where she had lost all her rights.
I think,
and that was for a long period. And people were like, "What was going on there? What's that like?" If you want to share that, because you weren't allowed to say anything. The stuff that happened before, I don't know.
The hardest part of her life could have very well been terminating a pregnancy that she wanted.
Oh, no, I don't.
That could be,
yes.
And if Justin Timberlake was suppressing her and doing some crazy stuff, okay, I get it more. But if it was something between them, it's like, why tell the world?
She said, this is what she writes from her book. This is Britney Spears. The name of the book, by the way, is The Woman in Me, out on October 24th, said, I love Justin so much. I always expected us to have a family together one day, but Justin definitely wasn't happy about the pregnancy. He said we weren't ready to have a baby in our lives, that we were way too young. She said, if it had been left up to me alone, I never would have done it, and yet Justin was so sure he didn't want to be a father. And then, of course, Justin Timberlake, everybody's asking, I guess people are trying to be in touch with him, and so his source is telling the response is, Justin has been focusing on his own family, trying not to concern himself with Britney's memoir. In recent years, Justin has tried to be supportive of Britney from a distance. They dated so long ago, but he still has respect for her. Justin and Jessica just want everyone to grow up and evolve instead of continuing to bring up the past. That is Justin Timberlake's official statement.
All right, interesting. Let's go to Amelia. Amelia, what's your comment about Britney Spears?
Yes, I was just calling to chime in and be in defense of Katie's stance. Justin, he told all and everything, too. He wrote the song, Cry Me a River, and, threw Britney under the bus just because she waited. Now it's a problem that she's telling her side of the story.
Well, I think Jason
because she waited until she waited until she was in a good place to tell her side. So why is it a problem when she does her side, but not when he does his?
Well, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking the circumstance. If that was something between them, and and that happened, and it's like a private thing between them, then she all of a sudden tells it, and I don't know the whole "Cry Me a River." I know the song, and it's about if she cheated or waited. I'm not.
Cheated, but he had a Britney Spears lookalike in his.
Yeah, I remember when it came out. That was
the video.
A big deal about it.
That was how long ago?
25 years ago?
I don't know the year. That it
seems like they're more adults
ago.
now. And
she also was not able to do anything on her own for the past 13 years.
Yeah, I get
so
that.
It's like maybe this could have come out.
Yeah, I'm not. That's a whole different.
But it's not really. No, but it's not though, because Jason, if you're not allowed to have control over your own money or your own life, what if she would have written this book before the conservatorship? Like, what if there had been a tell-all? There are lots of people who write their books just about their childhood career. Like, what if she wanted to write this book years ago but couldn't?
Right. The conservatorship I was trying to say, to me, is there may be a story there. I view them as two separate tough stories. So to me, they are separate, just to me, because the conservatorship wasn't Justin Timberlake.
Well, and this book is not just about the conservatorship. This book is about her life. I mean, it is The Woman in Me is about her life.
She has the right to do it, but we could disagree on the motives and why drag certain people through the mud.
She might have a reason. That's why I'm asking. She may have a reason.
And I have read studies, and I know this is a sensitive topic, that people who have had abortions, it does haunt them for many people the rest of their lives, because they think about, well, what would the kid look like, or what should I have done it, that type of stuff.
I think also though that it's the woman's problem,
Well, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, but just as well as I do that that's not a black and white kind of topic
I know, but I'm saying
at all.
I've never agreed with that.
Well, that's your stance on it, but I think though that this is her way of telling her story, and I think it's very easy for us to be like, yeah, well, she did it anyway.
There's somebody. I don't want to put that's not my stance.
And mine is not mine either.
Like, That's not.
No, I think it's for both of them.
I'm asking about her telling. I'm not saying, oh, she deals with it, not anything like that. She very well could have a lot of serious issues from
And
that.
I don't think you just recover from that, like, oh, you go and do it, and then you just recover from
and
it.
I'm
I agree
not
with
saying
that
at all.
because I've read a lot of things about that. 'Cause just the reason I bring that up, I remember being on a mission for our church, and part of it when somebody was joining the church, I asked the question. I was interviewing somebody to get ready for baptism because you can't just like, just get baptized. It's a commitment, and it said and one of the questions we had to ask everybody. So, have you ever murdered somebody? And the lady was like in her 70s, and she said yes. I'm like, wait, what? And I was like, what? And she said she had an abortion when she was 17 or 18. And said it's haunted her whole life. That stuck with me forever. Now, whether the guy was haunted by it or not, I don't know. But, I'm sure there's guys that are like, I shouldn't have done that,
Then
So,
I don't know. I don't know if that's how Justin Timberlake feels about it, or if he thought maybe he thinks that this is, if that news came out, it would ruin his reputation because he's worried about
true.
that. And so,
or ruin his career at 19.
Sure.
Yeah.
Don't know their reasoning behind it.
I know somebody, and I'm going to keep this as vague as possible, who the guy was potentially had a girl he was with get an abortion, and he didn't know, could it be mine, could it not? And even that unknown, like he wasn't pushing for it or anything, he found out after the fact it still affects him, and this has been 15 years ago.
And he still didn't know it was his kid. Yeah.
He doesn't know if it was, he doesn't know anything other than the fact that there is maybe the possibility that it could have been. He didn't even find out until after she had already done it, and he's still, it's a thing that I can tell still affects him if it gets brought up. Now, he's not bringing it up every day or anything like that, but if it's talked about, it still kind of resonates with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to Tamika. Tamika, what are your thoughts on this Britney Spears book and specifically about Justin Timberlake and the abortion?
Listen, I just wanted to tap in with Katie. I'm in disbelief that you guys actually took the stance that you did, because I sit here and listen to you guys give pretty much a thesis on everybody else's business, but all of a sudden you guys are switching. I'm just like shock and awe over here. Almost got pissed this morning.
Almost. Well, good.
Don't get pissed. Don't get pissed.
That's all right. Don't get pissed.
Yeah, I don't know.
Feel what you want to feel.
That was just my reaction. These type of tell-all books, I don't think we have ever one time said for anybody who's written them, well, how dare you bring out?
I literally said about Jada Pinkett Smith this week. I don't know why she's doing this.
Now, I love Jared. I love you, I do. But baby, as much as you get on here and you cry and you tell it all, I know you ain't talking about that.
That's his choice. But
yeah, Tamika, and Squid, your laughter is Tamika, your laughter's over the top. Give me my friendship bracelet back. Tamika, the thing is this: there's things I can't tell, and then there's things I shouldn't tell. There are things that would be unfair for me to tell. Even though there's a part of me that would want to sometimes, it would be totally unfair for me to share certain things.
I think, but then is there like a part of you in a way that you don't share it because you're like, are you afraid of things would happen in retaliation?
No. Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. No, it's I would be telling it out of anger, and the ramifications aren't worth it for the other people involved. And that's the fact. It's really, even if I don't get along with somebody, it puts somebody in an unfair situation because they would not be able to defend themselves.
If there is anybody who is allowed to be angry, I do think it is Britney Spears.
I'm not saying that.
I think she has every right.
I think the conservatorship and all that, without a doubt. I mean, there's wrong things, and that's why I'm asking about what is the circumstance. But did Justin Timberlake do her wrong, or this was a private thing they had together? And I could totally see that. I would definitely, if there's certain things that comes out about somebody that's not going to put them in a great light, but it was between us, I would probably feel hesitant to release that information. If I wasn't done completely wrong or something like that. I don't know. Maybe she was done wrong by him. I don't know.
I only have what the excerpts from the book, which The Woman in Me is going to be out October 24th. But I don't know. It's from her point of view.
She has the right for sure to do it. But it's like, is this a healing process when you're causing chaos for all sorts of other people 20-some years later?
I wonder, though, if does that matter? Does that matter in, I think that you can't get to the bottom of your of healing and being your best version and be worried that other people are going to get mad. You can't have it both ways.
Yeah,
it's
but
that
people
you have
go to
be,
therapy and a personal one-on-one thing, and they talk to a therapist or whatever they do,
but
a counselor.
Britney couldn't trust her therapist because they were.
I'm saying, but at this point, she can choose her doctors.
Maybe.
I'm saying
I don't know.
she doesn't have to do it publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And I did say about Jada, too. I mean, it's not because it's Jada. If it was Kanye and he's spilling all this stuff, yes, it's fodder for. I mean, I find it interesting, but I'm like, why are you going to? I don't know. I mean, this is like a crime or something. I don't. It's crazy. Morgan, what did you want to say?
I don't want to make anyone angry or have an argument, but just coming from someone who was in a 5-year relationship that was ruined because I wouldn't have an abortion. I love my 3-year-old. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I got dragged through the mud for being a mother out of wedlock and at 20 years old. So I just wanted to say that I agree with Katie, but I love you all, and I think that she has every right to tell her story.
Okay, thank you.
No one will get mad. Don't worry about calling in and making anybody mad.
Well, Jared's debatable, but
we all do. We all do. But
that's the guy with the biggest temper on the show.
Shouldn't be the reason you don't call.
No, all emotions are welcome here.
Absolutely.
I prefer if you're mad.
Yeah.
Let's go to Anna. Anna, what do you want to say about this Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears abortion controversy?
Hey, good morning. I just wanted to kind of say that they were very young, 19 years old. It's really hard to make that kind of decision. And I kind of see it from both views. I know that Britney was probably hurt for a long time after this, especially if he did kind of push her in that direction. But if it was just a little bit of a push that he wasn't ready, I get it from his point of view. He was 19. Child stars, they go through a lot, and I see it from his point too. If he's not ready, he's not ready, and I see it from hers too. It's a hard decision, and I hope that people would understand that they were very, very young, and that they wouldn't judge him too harshly as well, because it's really hard to make that kind of decision at that age. And I see it from hers too. It is her story to tell, and I really hope that he didn't really actually push her or she was under duress or anything like that. But I think the public would understand they were very young.
It's a good point.
And although he, Katie kind of talked about a statement that they released, I think at some point he's going to have to really answer this directly.
Oh, people are definitely going to. This is going to be the number one thing that people ask him about,
right?
For sure.
And he just needs to whatever his side of it, he needs to say it and get it. I think sooner rather than later, because then it just festers.
And I wonder if it will be sooner, because all of the hype right now around Trolls coming out and his new song and In Sync and all those things.
Timing,
yeah. And I know that you guys like conspiracy theories, so I'm going to bring you a fan conspiracy theory right now. So, lots of people have been sending this to me because they know that I'm obsessed with Hollywood stuff.
Yeah.
But they're like, Britney tried to tell us what was going on in her life. And I thought, okay, well, let's see. Well, her song Every Time was written, and I checked, by Britney Spears. Because at first I thought, well, if you have a team of writers and then there's you're not.
Yeah, sometimes
this
they get
isn't
stuff
about
like,
you.
this is about Justin Bieber, like before about Selena Gomez. Like, she didn't even write it.
Yeah, she didn't. It just was a song that was offered to 3 other people before her. No, Britney Spears actually wrote the lyrics of this song Every Time. And at the time when it was released, everybody thought, well, it's about Justin. And in the video to this song, we can play a little bit for you. There is a woman giving birth. This is the video where Britney Spears drowns herself in the bathtub.
Oh, man.
Do you remember?
Vaguely, yes.
And they also say it sounds like a lullaby, a little bit. There is music playing that sounds like a lullaby.
Gosh, might not be so far off, the conspiracy.
Haunting me.
Oh. Oof. Is that what this is about?
That's the conspiracy.
That's the theory.
It does say, please forgive me, like forgive me for having the abortion. She's saying that.
It said it's haunting me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Britney, in the video, it's her, and she's kind of walking through like a dream state. Hear the lullaby?
Yeah.
Don't know.
Every time. I love the conspiracy theory. I can see it.
Don't know.
Yeah, it's
They're
a lot more plausible than we haven't been to the moon.
Let's not get into that. There's more likely to go to the moon, but no.
It is much more.
Well, this is more plausible to be about that.
It is,
yeah.
and especially that she wrote it.
And both can be true, though, about the moon.
Yes, yeah. Unrelated, but yes.
Yeah, totally unrelated. Let's go to Anonymous. Anonymous, what do you think about the Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake abortion controversy where Britney Spears is saying Justin Timberlake pushed her to have an abortion?
I'm not trying to be like a devil's advocate or anything like that, but
Brittany's her own woman, and at 19, yes, you're dumb. You know, we've all done dumb things, but what's going to happen here is everyone's going to get on Justin for making her do this, for making her make that decision. I just heard 2 other women say they decided not to against what their partner wanted, and they're happy and fine. He could have made that decision.
Yeah, that's a good point because I think that, being on the other side, if a man ultimately doesn't have the final say, the woman is going to have the final say. And if you think about it from a perspective of, and I knew somebody, I'm not going to mention the name, I knew somebody who had got his girlfriend pregnant years ago, and he wanted to have the baby. And no matter what he said, and he was trying to push her into having the baby because it didn't want the abortion. It was his baby, and she had the abortion. He felt like his child just got murdered. That's the way he felt. So ultimately, she has the final say. And here's the other thing: how much is the push? If somebody comes to if he's saying he thinks he's too young, we don't know we weren't there. Is it a push, or he's giving his feedback of what he wants, and he's not going to lie? I mean, I'm not sure if it was like a push or I think we're too young to have a baby now. I'd rather not. This is not going to go well for the career, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't necessarily mean a push. That's the breaking point. How much of the push was it like, you better not have it and all this? Or was it just like, it's not a good time for us. I don't think we should do this, blah, 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 blah. And then she, you don't know.
I don't know.
And it make it easier for her to want to have the baby because maybe she didn't feel she should support. But I guess ultimately, I mean, she does have the choice.
She does have the choice, but the which is funny because of the state that we're in now. It's like, that's like the big topic, like that's the big debate. But to pretend that there is not the other person who he very well could say, well, you're on your own, and
he could have, but we don't know.
Well, we don't know. So it's all speculation is my point.
Right,
but like,
exactly.
But like the anonymous caller just said where we had up here, they weren't anonymous, and said that they were with somebody and said, do not have this baby, and they did anyway, not knowing their support or not.
But the other thing is that the husband left in one of the phone calls, left and came back at some point, 3 years later or whatever. And so, those are things that you have to weigh. You would have to weigh. I don't know.
And we don't know.
You would have to weigh.
We don't know if Justin Timberlake said, you're on your own, or it was just like, we don't have it. But
know.
He could still have been like, well, if she has it, I'm going to be there for her.
Either way.
I do believe, sorry, Katie.
No, either way, I firmly believe that she has a right to tell her own story. Whether it ruffles feathers or causes a wake for other people, this is her life, and that is her story. Why, that's how our disagreement began, is that you're allowed to tell your own story in your own tell-all book.
No, I'm agreeing with you. She has the right to do it. I just don't like the fact that she's dragging people.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's dragging. I mean, I think she would talk crap about him and say, but she just said.
And saying you forced me into an abortion is.
Why don't she did not use those?
What were the words?
Did not use those words. She did not.
I don't even think it was a push or a force.
All the headlines are saying like.
But that's a headline. What she writes is something different. And she said, "I don't know if it was the right decision. If it had been left up to me alone, I never would have done it. And yet Justin was so sure that he didn't want to be a father." She then goes on to say, "It was one of the most agonizing things I have ever experienced in my life. Justin definitely wasn't happy about the pregnancy. He said we weren't ready to have a baby in our lives, that we were way too young. There is no forced, there is no pushed, there is."
Well, she says in a clever way. We know she didn't write it because you've seen her Instagram post, but it's her story though. Many people have ghostwriters because you've seen her Instagram post. The way she writes is like,
oh, everybody has help on their books.
Like a 12-year-old, yeah. But she's saying I wanted to have the baby, and he didn't, and we didn't have the baby. So it is putting the blame on him.
Yeah, but
I don't think that's dragging. I don't think that's dragging.
I don't think it's dragging him through the mud because she's saying, she's not saying that he was making me feel horrible. He was just saying in his world he was not ready.
Yeah.
Period. Now, my thought would be like, was that between them? And now all of a sudden you got to release this years later, and he's married and everything else. But as far as that goes, we got to be very careful with the words because we don't know.
And forced was not on there, and
also attorneys looked over this book too, so she probably couldn't say that if she wanted to.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm saying they do look over these things because they're opening yourself up. If you,
that's why I mean, it's got to be true. It's got to,
Oh, I believe her that she wanted to have the baby and he didn't. I totally believe that. Yeah. All right, we'll follow up the story. There'll be a lot more to this going forward, and maybe Timberlake. I think we'd all advise him you got to say something now, not some vague thing. We're just focusing on our family. You got to say something, and because we've seen like Will Smith took 6 months to apologize to Chris Rock.
Yeah,
it's like, dude, just do it.
Right,
do it.
And I could see so easily how that statement could come back and haunt him, where it would be like, oh, focusing on your family you chose to have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I can see now. Oh, what about that baby you didn't want?
Katie, I was on page 6 today, New York Post, page 6, or Daily UK Mail, one of the two, and it has the big Britney Spears abortion thing. Then underneath, pictures of Justin Timberlake and his wife out with his 2 kids enjoying the day. And I'm like, they did that on purpose.
Wow.
Oh, 100%.
They did that on purpose.
100%.